is like the 5th time I've done this video, so here's hoping. Hi Stacy, and hi everybody else. I want to thank you all for rating and commenting and subscribing. Thank you Kat and Klex and Sarah and Chrissy, and it's really cool that you guys did that. You guys happen to be Stacy and my friends, but that doesn't make it any less cool that you did that for us, because we have subscribers now, which is totally awesome. The second thing I want to talk about today is that I got a new chair, so I'm taller. My face, it is up here instead of down here, which is pretty cool. The third thing that I want to talk about is, of course, Stacy, your question about problems with the Web 2.0 model. And, of course, the answer is yes, of course there are problems. There are several, but the one that I want to talk about specifically today isn't actually a problem for me. But it is a problem for any corporations or businesses that are looking at the internet and wondering what the hell is going on. The problem here is that all of this user-generated content and that people are looking at has grown up and evolved in a medium that is traditionally money-free. And of course for corporations, they don't really understand money-free. They make money. That's what they do. That's their job. And I don't fault them for it. People have to make money. Very few corporations actually understand why anybody makes money on the web and how. So several of them are trying to take business models that they think works and copy them, like these guys. That was my Barnes & Noble homepage. Barnes & Noble has taken their website, which used to be simply just books and reviews, and created a portion that is very much like a social networking site. You can have friends and follow people and get email updates when they review a new book or whatever. And this isn't really working out for them. Not too many people are using it, which I don't really understand, because I personally kind of love it. I don't follow anybody, so I don't use it as a social networking site, but I do use it as a social information website. I can enter my preferences and my favorites and all of the stuff that I already own in a portion called my library, if you saw it. So it doesn't recommend me those things that I already own, and it recommends things that I might like to buy, and based on not only its database telling it what I might like based on my preferences, but what other users with my preferences also like, which I think is really cool. And it should be working, but it's not. And the problem here is that people aren't using it. Obviously, if people don't use a system that uses user-generated input, the system's not getting the input, so it's just giving me recommendations based on its database, and that's really annoying, because then I end up with like recommendations for Altan when I don't really want to buy Altan, because they're really nothing like Gaelic Storm. Whatever. So that's not working. Several other problems that crop up when people try to monetize the internet are things like news archives being locked behind pay barriers, which is incredibly annoying. I tried to link a New York Times article not even 3 weeks ago, and I could see it, and I had been linked to it by someone else, and I could read it, and I read the entire article. It was like 7 pages, and then when I tried to link it, everybody who tried to click on it found themselves locked out because they hadn't paid for it. I don't pay for the New York Times. I don't know what happened. But that's really annoying, and it doesn't work out. I don't like that. I don't use the New York Times. So those are some models that don't really work. Models that require user input when people don't use them, and pay barriers for archives. They never work. Some models that do work. Here we go. That was Hank Green of YouTube's Vlogbrothers, looking very silly. But Hank is a musician, although first he was a vlogger. Hank makes music that people are willing to pay for. And part of the reason that people are willing to pay for Hank's music is that He puts himself out there. He makes vlogs 3 times a week, and we get to know Hank and his wife and his brother and his nephew, and we like Hank. And I know that part of my motivation for buying Hank's albums is that I want to support Hank because he's a cool guy. But also the songs are totally awesome, and you can find a link in the description to his record company called DFTBA Records, where you can buy his music if you want to. Another model that works is by a guy called Jeff Jacks. He creates a webcomic called Questionable Content, which I think everybody should be reading. It's an amazing comic. And Jeff is able to support himself and his wife by not only creating the comic every Monday through Friday, but also creating t-shirts and prints and posters and selling them through his web store. Jeff is making content and products that he is proud of and putting them out there on the internet for people who also like the products to buy, and that works. He always says that if you're making a great comic, and when he says that, what he really means is if you're making content people like, they'll come to you. So those there are several internet models of people trying to make money on the internet, some that work and some that don't. Now this video is getting really long, so I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, I've got one more model that works. You can get music on the internet for free. I promise you I could find anything I wanted for free on the internet. But I continue to pay for iTunes. And I'll tell you why. Because it's easy. If you can make paying for something easier than not paying for something, then people will buy it. So there you go. That's another model that works on the internet. Look, you can tell it's different because the lighting's changed. I actually thought of a better question for Stacy than I had before. So, Stacy, for your video, why don't you think of another problematic aspect of Web 2.0 and give me some examples of why that's a problem and how it works, when it works and doesn't, whatever. And for everybody who's not Stacy, thank you again, and keep commenting and rating and subscribing and helping us out because I love you guys for it. Thank you. And keep an eye out for a video in the next 2 weeks or so, celebrating the return of Doctor Who on April 17th, because that's one of our favorite shows. And I'll be talking about that in sort of an odd kind of a way. And in the meantime, we'll carry on this conversation in the comments and also in any video responses. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Best wishes.